Disco Inferno. It's Andy O, Dave Cackley. It is 8:18, and Dave has earned his gold star for the week because he hustled up a guest for us. Mm-hmm. And she's a lovely guest. Her name is Anny Donewald. Good morning, Annie. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah? You're not used to these kind of hours, are you?
No, this is way early. I think it's still nighttime right now, actually.
She comes in and she goes, "Is this morning?"
Yeah,
or PM. I don't know. Yeah.
So, talk a little bit about how you got to know Annie.
It's funny. I actually met Annie. What was it? When 1997, we had a class at Western Michigan. I needed to fulfill a final phys ed credit. It was called Relaxation.
Yeah, did you fail that class?
No, I did. I told you. I got a
Stop lying.
I got a 2.5, which is like failing.
That's
I think
almost worse because how do you get a 2.5 in relaxation? I'm still trying to figure that out.
I don't know. I didn't. It was one of those classes that you went to on like the morning after a college night.
Hangover.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely. I slept. I think I got a pretty good grade in that.
Yeah, if you go to class and sleep, that's perfect.
Exactly. That's what I thought.
I couldn't fall asleep. You could, so you 4-pointed.
It happened. Should have stayed out later.
Exactly. That was my problem.
This chick is wild. I like that.
You have no idea.
Well, we're going to find out. So you're going to Western Michigan in, what was it, 1997?
Late 90s.
I started in, I think, late 90s.
Yeah.
90s.
Did you grow up around here?
I grew up in Kalamazoo.
Kalamazoo. So you didn't go too far from home or anything like that?
I didn't. My family lived there. And I actually was going to college, and these girls knocked on my door. I was a waitress, and I wasn't a good one.
Where were you waitressing at?
At a Chinese restaurant in Kalamazoo.
Well, you'd fit right in.
Yeah. I didn't.
6-foot blonde.
Right. And here I am. I don't stick out or speak the language.
No.
So I was working there, wasn't making very good tips because I was terrible. But these girls knocked on my door, and they wanted to beat up my roommate. And so I invited them in. And
did you hate your roommate?
No, I didn't care.
Okay.
I didn't. It was stupid. So
do me a favor. Call those girls and invite them over here to beat him up.
Yeah. It was a while. College was like, woof. But it was my maybe first or second semester, and they were all exotic dancers.
Really?
So they came in. I became friends with them. And I actually offered them weed, and it was like a peace offering. It was like, here, smoke this with me. And that's kind of how we became friends.
Yeah. So you got to know some exotic dancers. Did they work at like Deja Vu down there?
They didn't, but in Lansing.
Oh, okay. All right.
So, but they said, you should try this. We're making money. And they were, 19 years old. They said, hey, try this competition. You'll get $200. And that's a lot of ramen noodles, when you're in college. Yeah. So I tried it, and I won, and I was in. I started working in Lansing with them and dropped out of college for a couple semesters. And I ended up getting pregnant, actually, with my daughter. So that kind of got me out for a little bit. Went back to Western. Was going to school, kind of got back on track. And then 2 weeks after I had my daughter, I went back to work.
Really?
Went back to work. I know, it's crazy, right?
Now, okay, so let's
back up. Go.
You started working as an exotic dancer at 19.
Yeah.
Talk about the first day you had to do something like that. Was it awkward for you to take your clothes off in front of a group of people?
Well, yeah. I think, anytime a girl decides that she's going to get into the industry, there's something that, has happened where, we teach our little girls, like, these are your private parts. And to be able to make them public, you have to check out to some extent mentally. You're not okay with anything that's going on. So you kind of disassociate, and, at first it's a good rush. It's like, oh, this attention, especially when you're 19,
right.
There's a room full of men and everybody's, whatever. But after a while, it's a real slippery slope. And I got into it and flew all the way in, the drug scene, all the stereotypes that you would see like on an ABC after school special. Yeah. Yeah, I was all in, the drugs and the alcohol and everything.
Are some women able to keep that separate?
I see some women that are able to keep it separate, but again, they have to disassociate. There has to be something that you're mentally blocking out.
And is there? But so there's a common denominator between all these girls that get a job.
I believe so.
And get into that kind of thing.
I have never met a girl that has not had something go wrong sexually, whether as a child or a teenager. I haven't met one. I'm not saying there isn't one because I don't know all of them. But
what kind of money are you making at 19?
I wasn't going home with less than $300-400 at 19.
Wow.
And as you get into it and you learn more on how to do it, I was in for 6 years. I was a dancer for 6 years.
Okay.
I graduated from Western.
You actually got a degree?
Yeah, I did 2 years of college in 9 months. Yeah, I did my junior and senior year in 9 months and
Wow.
graduated with honors. Did my internship and was a single mom, and just wanted to get out of college because I couldn't figure out what I was doing there other than, let me just prove to everybody that I can do this.
Yeah.
I got the degree, threw the degree in the trunk, drove to Chicago, and started dancing there.
And then what kind of money did you make in Chicago?
I didn't make less than $1,000 a night in Chicago. But at this point, I had been in the industry for about 4 years, and so I wasn't a rookie. You know what I mean? I knew what I was in.
That's $365,000 a year.
Yeah, I was clearing 6 figures, and I was working at.
Were you happy?
No,
or did you consider yourself happy?
At the beginning? Well, see, I was kind of on a high when I first moved to Chicago. My goal was to quit when I graduated from college, but right after I graduated, 9/11 happened.
Right.
So the market just tanked, and I was, doing so much college in a short period of time, I was like, I didn't have time to send out resumes and do all that. And what is my work experience?
Right.
At this point, what do you put? I can do a pole trick. I don't know what. What are you supposed to put? So,
terrorist.
It's total terrorist. It's Nazism.
Terrorist.
Yeah.
So
bomb them harder.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So I was working at this club, and at first I was on a real big high because I was making all this money, more money than I was making in Michigan. I had just graduated college. I was like 23 years old and felt a little invincible. I just did all this work, and but it went downward spiral again real fast.
Right. Because
Drinking, and it was empty. It was like, I don't have any goals in order why I'm here. It's never supposed to be a career move, but so many times it ends up being a career move because how do you get out? It's a totally different culture. It's a different way of life. It's a different sleeping pattern, as we see now. Yeah. It's just it has different rules, different sets and things like that. So
you're in Chicago, you're making 6 figures.
Yeah.
And then you took off for Vegas.
I ended up getting married.
Okay.
I tried to get out, and I was like, I needed to get out. I was drinking too much, and so I thought, I got to get out of here. So I got married, and I was with my husband for about 6 weeks, and it was completely abusive. So I went from the frying pan into the fire and thought, oh Lord, now I got to get out of this. So I moved back to Michigan, and started working at my old club in Lansing again.
Okay.
And then I started working again because I'm like, well, I got to pay for a lawyer.
Right.
So, this is all I know. In my mind, I'm thinking this is all I know how to do, which is a total lie because it's not all I know how to do. I just did college. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of these women are so terribly brilliant, but they believe that lie, that's all they can do. So I started working in Detroit. They opened up a new club in Detroit. They were paying me to come up there. The club was, to help them open. And I met a girl there that worked in Vegas. And she said, hey, there's more money to be made. I'm like, let's go. So we went to Vegas, but what I didn't understand was when she said there's more money to be made, she was an escort.
Oh.
Okay, so at this point, you'd just been dancing and how many years into it?
6.
6 years in, and you just been doing the dancing, and now we're
going
into a different
furthermore.
situation.
Yeah, because she's making $1,000 in an hour, and I'm making $1,000 in 6 to 8 hours.
God.
So I thought, well, on paper, this looks like a good career move.
Yeah.
And so I kind of joined her team and got into escorting in Las Vegas and in Beverly Hills, California.
Wow.
And
wait a minute. All right, now we want some stories.
We went.
Names.
And pictures, right?
No.
Was Charlie? No.
Winning. No. I'm just kidding. But yeah. So and then I just kind of stopped for a minute, and I had a moment where I was like, I am a prostitute. Officially.
Yeah.
I grew up in a middle to upper class socioeconomic background.
Right.
I have 2 parents. You know what I mean? I don't come from what you would stereotypically believe these girls are coming from. And so I was like, this is out. I've lost it. I've kind of lost control. And so I just decided, I just had a moment where I was like, this has to stop.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? I told you before we came on the air that there's some similarities here.
Yeah.
And you know what? That was me with alcohol.
Okay.
I got to the point where, and you know what? I don't come from a bad family.
Right.
I don't come from a broken home or any of that kind of stuff. But it's just it's these things in life that just kind of pull you in and continue to spiral.
Absolutely.
That people don't understand.
And then all of a sudden you wake up 6 years later and you're escorting in Las Vegas and you're going, how did this just happen?
Yeah.
And so and it was just like that. I had a moment. I came back to Michigan and I said, I'm not going to do this. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yep.
But I'm going to find something else to do. And I found myself pregnant again. I'd had several abortions in the industry. You can't, you can't be pregnant,
right,
and work,
and work.
Right.
And if you feel like you're trapped in the industry, which is what I felt like, I couldn't stop to have a baby. I had all these bills and all these expenses, and so I did what I thought the best idea was to have another abortion. Like, it wasn't even a thought. I was like, well, I got to have another abortion.
Oh, my God.
I just quit dancing. I can't.
Did that get harder, or was it easier to do as far as the abortions go? Did it mentally?
It never gets easy to do to murder yourself.
Does it still bother you?
Like, it's never. No, I've gone through like a lot of healing and processing through. You know what I mean? And I actually help a lot of women that are going through that,
which is
and facing that decision.
Kind of what you're here talking about today.
I am.
You are with an organization called Eve's Angels.
I am.
Tell us a little bit about that.
After I got pregnant, I had my son. I found God. Which,
that's what it takes.
It does. It takes.
It's the same thing.
He showed up.
You know what? It's the same thing for an alcoholic.
Yeah.
It really is.
You have to find something bigger than yourself in order to come
Absolutely.
out of something. Because you're in something bigger than yourself.
Right.
And so you have to find something bigger than that. And Jesus showed up. It's kind of like that.
Did you find were you addicted to the lifestyle? Or was it the money, or was it what was it that was? I mean,
everybody thinks these girls. So Eve's Angels helps girls get out of the industry, and it's funny you bring that up because so many times I hear people say, "Well, you're never going to be able to convince these girls to come out of this lifestyle because of the money's so good." And I always say to them, "There's always something in a human existence that means more than money."
Yeah,
right.
And that's purpose, and that's love.
Yeah,
when I found God, or when God appeared, or whatever you want to say happened.
It's the most overwhelming experience, isn't it?
Because you figure out that was really the thing you were looking for the whole time.
Yeah.
And so,
it happened to me.
Yeah.
The same thing. I can tell you right down to the second when my life changed.
Yep, so can I. And actually, a Bible scripture, I had never read the Bible. Bible scripture popped in my head. And it said, those that have sat in darkness have seen a great light. I had no idea what that even meant. And the next day, it just clicked. And I went, I get it. And I knew.
That's exactly how it happened for me.
And it was that moment, and everything changed. I started reading the Bible. Everybody thought I'd lost my mind. They're like, oh, what is she doing now?
Yeah.
And everything changed, and I just really sought purpose and said, God, you saved me from all this for something. What's the for something? And that's what happened. He showed me. I was led by God, and it was, I want you to go back and tell those girls in the industry that I love them. So many times churches have done a bang-up job of telling these girls that they're going to hell, that, God doesn't love them. I mean, that's what they were telling me.
Yeah.
You're going to hell. I'm like, I'm already in it. Thanks for the weather report. And so,
this is just unbelievable because you know what? All those years, because when I quit drinking, it was about 2 gallons of whisky a week. It's a substantial amount of booze.
You were a disaster.
I was a disaster, and nobody knew it.
Okay.
I was a functional alcoholic. There were people I worked with for years, didn't know I even touched it.
Problem.
Isn't that crazy?
But that's exactly what it's like. You get that wake up call, and then you just want to carry the message afterwards.
And so I now we started in we actually started in Grand Rapids.
Okay.
I became a 501c3 nonprofit organization. My goal was to have a house and a rehabilitation center for them because I know a lot of the girls, knowing a lot of my friends didn't ever have a home to go to. I did.
Yeah.
My family was always like, we don't agree with what you're doing, but we love you.
Right.
And so I think that was really the thing that was my backbone. That's what kept me,
And there's some of those girls out there that don't have that support.
Most of them don't.
Really?
So my goal was to have a house and a rehabilitation center, but what ended up happening was I started at a church. We partnered with a church, and I started support groups for the women. And I trained up outreach people because, you can't. The strip club can be kind of shocking to Christians when they first go in there. It's a little shocking.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
but most of us have been to bachelor parties.
Everybody's been to a bachelor party.
Yeah, but most Christian women, have not been to a bachelor party.
That's true. That's true.
Okay,
so, I mean, me walking into I've been in a strip club longer than I've been in a church, and I'm actually comfortable in there. But,
sure.
Sometimes taking people in there, they're kind of like, what is this? So I trained up teams to go out and outreach to the girls, just form relationships with them. We never tell them to quit. I don't believe that's any of my business. That's between them and God.
Yep.
They have their own path, their own journey, but we still invite them to church. We still invite them to our support groups. And when they decide, they come to us and say, I need help out of here. We provide whatever it is that they need to help them get out.
Now, let me just tell everybody who we're talking to here. Anny Donewald, she's with an organization called Eve's Angels. Now, when a girl wants out of this type thing, do you have to fight? I mean, because let's be honest. I mean, there's going to be pimps involved.
Right.
There's going to be people that are going to lose a substantial amount of money because they're not going to be performing in their clubs.
Yeah, the management. How do you deal
you
with all that? You
want to know what's ironic about this? I think it's because I was in the industry for so long, but I actually have so much favor, like club owners, club management. They love me.
Really? Okay.
I have better luck with them sometimes, most of the time, than I do with a lot of churches. So, then pastors of churches, because,
they don't know how to handle it.
Yeah. Well, and they're saying we shouldn't go to those places. I'm like, you're right. Only Jesus would do that.
Yeah.
So don't get me started.
Yeah. Never mind that part in the Bible where Jesus saved the prostitute.
Where he went to the lost. Don't worry about that.
Mary Magdalene who? What?
You're right. Get your white out real quick so we can, conform to your ideas and your agenda. But so... yeah, they love me because everybody knows in there, it's not easy work. You know what I mean? And everybody knows. I get club managers that say, hey, can I get your card in case one of the girls really need your help out? Because they know, some girls can do this. I know girls that have been in for 20 years and they are not drinking. They're not doing drugs. They're like, this is, just kind of the way that the life went. But there are other girls that, like me, that just kind of fell and just lost themselves in it. Mm-hmm. Management knows that that's going on, and they don't, a lot of the managers want to protect their girls and say, hey, this girl's really struggling. She's on heroin. She's got a drug addiction problem. Her boyfriend or her pimp or whatever is beating her up. Can you help this girl? And I'll get phone calls,
Mm-hmm. So and you do.
I do.
Yeah. You show up.
I do.
Look at that sparkle in her eye. Look at that. I wouldn't mess with her.
No. I wouldn't mess with me.
She's like, the look on her face when she's like, yeah, I do show up.
Yeah.
It's like, uh-oh.
I'm not telling you what I'm showing up with either. But.
Exactly.
It's just a cape and a stiletto.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So talk about, now where are you located here in town?
We meet.
Or you just do mobile?
Well, we meet at churches. So here in Grand Rapids, we meet at City Life Church on Tuesday nights at 7.
Okay.
It's on Division. And then we're in Lansing, Michigan. We're in Detroit, Michigan. We're in Chicago, Illinois. We're in Orland Park, Illinois. We're in Indianapolis, and we're in Dallas, Texas.
And this is stuff you've started.
Yeah, I started this whole disaster.
And you're all over the Midwest now helping girls out with this thing.
And we have 2 other chapters that are in negotiations right now in the 2 other suburbs of Chicago. We've housed girls in Grand Rapids. We've got an apartment for them. We put them through school. We prayed them out of drug overdose. They were in a coma. They woke up and we were standing over their bed like, hi, you ready to quit yet? Yeah. And they did. And we've put them, 3 girls through college. One of them's in college right now to be an art therapist.
Wow.
One girl just graduated from cosmetology school here in Grand Rapids. We're housing other girls in Detroit. We have a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo in a gated community in Dearborn where we're housing them.
Nice.
We've had people just donate furniture, like tens of thousands of dollars.
That's what I was going to say. How do you maintain all of this stuff?
Donations.
That's got to be pricey.
It all comes in with donations.
It is, and people say, how do you fundraise? I'm like, I pray long and hard. Jesus, we need help. But private donations. I send out emails. I put it on Facebook. Hey, we need, girls. We just had a girl. We went on outreach in Orland Park, Illinois. There was a girl, we exchanged, my outreach girl, I wasn't there, but my outreach girl gave her the number, and the next day her house burned down. It was Christmas Eve.
Oh.
Her house burned down. She had an 8-year-old son. So we, She got a hold of us and said, can you help me? We started paying for her hotel. We just got her. She said she wanted to quit. So we just got her a job making $12 an hour. We're helping her get her GED. Her car was repossessed. We got her car out of repossession. Her license was suspended. We got her license unsuspended.
What work?
Yeah, we blessed her for Christmas. I mean, we provided her a Christmas for her and her son. We got clothes for them. And we're helping her find an apartment right now in Orland Park. In the meantime, I just had a bank donate 75% of a mortgage for a 5-bedroom house.
Wow.
So we're able to do this on a grander scale, and we're just taking over. We're completely taking over.
How long has this been going on? You started this organization in what year?
I became incorporated and did all the paperwork because it's disgusting. Do you guys know about this paperwork? The IRS, I love them. No, I really don't. But yeah, it's disgusting. But I became incorporated in 2008, but I didn't start doing this until 2.5 years ago.
And
so
you spread that far that fast.
2.5 years.
Yeah.
Oh my! When do you sleep?
I don't. I don't sleep. See,
that's what the Red Bull.
Right here, right? Yep. I don't sleep.
Wow.
If anybody's heard this today and they want to reach out to you, how do they go about getting in touch?
Yep, they can get a hold of us on our website at info@evesangels.org.
Okay.
They email us. I've got teams of people, whatever city they're in. And here's another thing. I'm connected with organizations just like this all over the United States. So if there's somebody, that hears about it in, I don't know, whatever, Nebraska.
Yeah.
I don't know if I know anybody in Nebraska. Are there strippers in Nebraska?
Omaha, I think, is a hotbed for
ugly
that.
ones.
I'm going to have to set up Eve's Angels.
Ugly
Omaha.
ones, and they all start off in bib overalls.
Yes,
it's part of the act.
Straw hats and whatnot.
It's costume day at the club.
Yeah, it's a theme thing.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a theme night.
Yeah.
So, we're connected all over the country with different organizations like mine.
It's amazing work you do.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
What an impressive woman to have come in.
You've come a long way since relaxation class.
Right. I think I 4-pointed that.
Did you ever imagine that your life would take this many turns?
I was telling you this earlier, but I see club managers and stuff like that of different, because I get the privilege of going into the clubs I used to work at across the country, and they always say to me, they're like, you are the last person I ever would have thought would be doing what you're doing. And I'm like, yeah, I think everybody says yes on that. That's the voting yes. No, I never could have imagined that this is what I would do, but it makes sense, and I don't want to do anything else. This wakes me up in the morning. Not this early usually, but
it gives you purpose.
It does.
Yeah.
What an amazing story. Annie, thank you for coming in today.
Thank
you so much.
We'll put a podcast of this up, and we'll put the link to your website and all that other stuff. So if anybody out there needs the help, they can just come to our website and find that out.
Perfect.
At WFGR. What a great job.
Incredible story.
I mean,
absolutely.
I'm standing here in absolute awe of you.
Thank you.
And congratulations
Amazing.
for all the great work. And you know what? That feeling's great, isn't it?
Isn't it?
When you know you're just pulled out of everything that was bad and it's never going to have to happen again.
There's no high like the Most High, right?
And it's the best.
98.